Hi, I'm Ronnie from Ronnie's Garage. We're having our monthly tech meet here today, and we're going to be working on Silver Cloud 1 steering box. Now we're going to look at steering boxes again. This is out of an... here's, I'll tell you a little backstory. These YouTube videos, which can be entertaining, that are being done right now, have emboldened a lot of other people onto tearing things apart that perhaps they shouldn't. That's just my opinion. But this steering box here came from a shop who saw my wonderful videos, right, that Steve makes. I just stand here and talk. And they wanted to address a leak on the thing. So they did. They said, we tried to fix the leak twice and it kept leaking. It's leaking out this top seal. And then they said, but it's our own fault for not driving the car first, but we noticed that in one direction it turns easier than the other. There's a danger. When you start messing with all these washers and spool valves and settings, you can alter the way the thing works. If you mix up washers, you're definitely going to cause grief. What I found on this one, I've got this test rig and we're going to hook it up to this other box here, and I'm going to show you how I determine the problems, or I work towards fixing the problems, that one side took less effort to get a certain poundage of pressure than the other. And that is generally all in this spool valve. This spool valve right here, anyways, you see it has these glands. These are called glands, these cuts on this valve. It's a very precision fit. There are corresponding glands, in other words, deeper grooves, on this housing that go to the different ports. The ports here is the small one coming in. If you notice, it's right in the center, feeds it. So it's squirting right on the center of this thing here. So when it's in the center, if you're not trying to work it, then what happens is it just recirculates back to the pump under no pressure, technically. And that's the return right here. Now once you turn the wheel one direction or another, all the resistance in the system, the tires, the concrete, all the steering linkages, this pitman arm, when you apply against that resistance, it will move this valve just a few thousandths one way or the other. And that few thousandths one way or the other will direct the fluid to one direction or the other. And these hoses go out to the ram, which is the actual assist part of the steering that connects to the steering linkages. So the ram is like a cylinder. It's got a piston with a shaft coming out of it, and it has two hoses going to it, which go to here. So to assist it, when you send fluid to one direction, then it goes to one side of that ram and it pushes it. So then you get your assist, and then vice versa for the other direction. This is very, 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 very precision. You get just a few thousandths either way can throw off your assist. So what I'm going to do here now is, I built this Mickey Mouse as usual. I'm pretty Mickey Mouse about things. Setup here. I did replace my gauges so I could read them better. As I'm older, I got bigger gauges, lower pressure so I can see the increments better. And then I got this big reservoir of fluid. I took an electric motor here, and I took an old Jaguar steering pump, mounted it so I could run it. And then over here, this is the high pressure inlet. So that would be the center port, the small port on there, and this is where it gets pressure, like from your steering pump, let's say on your car. This is the pressure coming in. The return hose, I run it back to the reservoir down here, and then I have the two direction hoses. I had to put a pressure regulator here because my little electric motor there doesn't have enough oomph to push the pump past 400 or 500 pounds pressure. That's pretty good for a Cloud 1 and 2. I think they're down around 500 pounds. And then the Cloud 3, they boosted the pressure. And then like a later car, like a Shadow, they'll go over 1,000, I think. They're pretty powerful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how this works on this box right here. Okay, that's good.
Or you want to
I want to grab it right there. Don't lose my rope. Yeah. Go ahead. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to have to occupy this space over here. So anybody, if you want to come around this side, I got to plug into that thing over there. Bucket. I have a bucket here.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm talking to your assistant here.
You guys are going to stand where the oil spray comes flying out.
And we're going to direct it.
No,
right
you
here.
are, Ray.
We're trying to figure out where it's going to go.
No, it's going to go someplace.
Yes.
Grab that shield.
Well, if I do this right, nothing will go anywhere.
Ronnie's never forgiven me for owning a Daimler.
Okay, let me go get a bucket. Okay, so I want to find the center of this. Normally on these cars you got 4 and about a half turns from lock to lock, so the center should be 2 1/4, right? You would think. So there's 1, 2, and we'll just say 1/4. The reason that's important is because when you go past center, you get play in this the further you go. So you want to be right on center so that you get the proper resistance against that both directions. And the way I do that, I made another Mickey Mouse thing here. This is an old Pitman arm. And I just bolt this on here so it's somewhat snug. And the reason you got to hold this firm. And the reason being is by design, this is going to go to your wheels and all that with the car weight on it. So when this feels resistance here is when it moves that valve. Okay? Does that make sense? So this is a very high-tech thing I made. Notice the stacking washers. They are calibrated. Not really.
But it only works in this shop and on that bench.
I can actually move it to another bench, and I think I can make it work.
You have to have more wash.
Depends on how high the vise is, all those things. So is anybody figuring out what I'm doing here? Stop it from moving. Or I could have Ray hold it for me.
Which might slow it down.
Well, you might get wet too. Awfully close. Everybody's afraid of getting a little red fluid on them. I had so much fun making these mandrels and tools that I forgot that when you're working around a mill and you're removing all your jigging and rotating, you take that mill bit out first. And I laid my finger wide open while I was cleaning up over there. They're very sharp and they don't move. So this is my high-tech way of holding it. See, all you're getting is this box moving a little bit. All right?